You have the skill.
Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. Appreciate you tuning in here. Good to see each and every one of you. We got Hasbro with us over here in the box. Me and Waco used to call it Hollywood Squares. But good to see you guys. How you doing, Hasbro? Hey, am I muted? Nope, I'm not muted. I'm here. Hang on, guys. Oh, okay. Got you. Hey, got Bobby Barlow here. Let me go over a few people and then we'll let you talk here in a second. Bobby Barlow, Coat 1927. Dale Pogue is with us. Reloader762. Info Bros, Kingpin. Good to see each and every one of you guys. Tactical FUD. So, what's going on with you these days, Hasbro, since the last time I seen you?
Yeah, just finished up the 1,500 subscriber party, mailed all the stuff out today, so that's all done. Now I'm going to get back to doing some reloading and shooting and try to get some done. I'm going to take a trip out to Colorado before too long, so I look forward to that. So my time's a little limited on shooting, but I'm going to try to get some stuff in and get some videos done.
Cool. Oh, PA Reloader joined us. Brutal Bob jumped in there. Piker 64. Makes me almost think what Nick said. That's going to make me think about it. I can switch that thing on the fly, if you know what I mean. Anyways, good to see you guys. Yeah, you had a lot of shipping there, didn't you? How many total things did you ship? Pieces?
I shipped out, what did I ship out? 6 different packages, and that was a ding to the wallet. These bullets are heavy. I mean, when you ship 100 147s, it cost me more than the bullets are worth to ship them.
Oh, okay. I seen your private message. It says, "Hey all." I didn't know what to think for a second.
Oh yeah, I think I said it in the wrong side, didn't I?
Oh, okay. Anyway, good to see you guys in the side chat. We're going to talk about let a few more drift in here, maybe. Got another guest coming. 90% chance he'll drop in on us, and we'll talk a while. We're going to talk about a little bit about beginning reloading and probably a new direction I'm going to go on my channel, which I mentioned to Hasbro a little bit ago. Some areas I'm going to start doing that I haven't touched on in the past. I've been predominantly either panels or talking reloading. So let me switch cameras here for a second. Get that crappy camera. Even though it's dark. Hang on, guys, and I'll turn on the light. Maybe that'll help. Even though it blinds me. There we go. It's not perfect. That camera's not, but you all, let me move this up. Check this out, guys. That right, probably you know what that is. I know you all do. It's lower. That's upper arrow. That's lower arrow enhanced. And I'll just go ahead and, this is Rainier Arms. It was made, I think, by MAGA or something. I not mean to say that word, but MAGA Arms, I think, used to have a really slick surface. Years ago, I ordered a Rainier Arms receiver. That thing is like slick. I mean, you talking about die work. I mean, it's similar to Arrow. I mean, you can skate on this thing. I ain't kidding you. I mean, it's they say it's the die in the manufacturing they use. It's not powdery like a lot of the coated upper and lowers are.
Really smooth and clean.
Yeah, and Arrow's kind of like that too. Let's get what we're gonna talk beginning reload. I know it's been beat like a dead horse to death on YouTube, but I want to do a little bit spin on it tonight called Basics. It's gonna be what's the first stage a reloader goes through? First stage would be what they usually do. We already know my friend Bubba, he's bought him a Lee turret here the other day. But what do you do? Stage 1, you go press, dies, powder, primers, and bullets probably. Maybe brass. Then you realize, well, I got to get a bench unless you built the bench first. I mean, that's possible because we do that sometime. I don't want to cover this real rapid, so we'll sit there and think about that for a minute. Bench, case prep tools, and you always think you got enough at that point, right? I mean, most of us do. I've seen comments. Hey, Eagle, how you doing,
What's
man?
up, guys?
Good
How are
evening.
you?
We're talking about tonight. Good to see you, man. Thank you for being on.
Absolutely.
And congrats on the thing. I didn't know if you wanted to announce that, but we'll touch on that in a minute.
All
Uh-oh.
right.
That cola?
It's
I don't
the
think so.
Michelob Ultra.
I'm
I used to
glad
drink
it didn't
that a
say
little bit.
Bud Light.
Yeah, it's
We're-
a Bud Light.
I doubt that somehow.
Got me to thinking the other day, Bubba, the one in Hillbilly Up shows, he got him a Lee, turret. And you see two different stages. There's one stage of people on YouTube. They'll go, should I get a kit or should I buy a press? Should I buy everything separate? I usually recommend separate, but you can get a kit. And they always go to that first stage, which I just kind of covered. You get your press, dyes, powders, primer, bullets, if you're lucky. Then you sometimes build a bench before or after, and maybe case prep tools. And then what do most reloaders do then? They realize they don't have enough, because reloading is like a never-ending rabbit hole. I mean,
I feel like I'm still in the very early stages of that. This summer will be my 2-year anniversary for reloading, and I still have a list a mile long, and I've spent $8,000.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I spent,
welcome to the club.
Yeah.
they say in reloading, if you don't let your eye look at everything like a lollipop or piece of candy, you might do okay and not go down the rabbit hole. But
Yeah.
I went down the rabbit hole somewhat myself, and it set me back there. I even went with a Dillon 650, and I swore I wasn't going to start out with, or I didn't start out with that. I started out with a Redding. Well, actually, I started with a Hornady. I bought a Hornady, I think for $389 or $379 at Mid-South. No, yeah, Mid-South, I think in Tennessee. I think it's Mid-South. And they sent it. I set it up. I even bought an inline fab plate for it, and all that.
Yeah.
Got it going. And I knew it'd be good for pistol rounds. I didn't really like it for rifle rounds for some reason. I just didn't. And then I realized, kept looking at Dillon, and one day I says, I'm gonna put it in a outdoor trader paper where you can sell guns and everything, and you can sell them, by the way, without the government's permission. And it's called Outdoor Trader. Y'all check it out. I know it's down here in the South, and you can sell guns on all that stuff without background checks. You just go sell it, meet in the lot, show ID, and get your receipt. Everybody does it. Sorry. But that's the South for you. So anyway, that made me think what you said about almost changing things on the fly there when I said that. But you go through those stages. Some people think, new reloaders, they sit there and think, well, I'll go buy ammo and I'll just use the brass. Because then I get to shoot, and then I can bring it home, and then all that. But yeah, you're right. You spent that much, really, Nick?
Well, a lot of that has to do with I do have a large selection of primers and powder. So I am counting my primer purchases in that. I have a large number of primers that I've been stockpiling.
I'd say right now, just in powder, which is not a lot, because I mean, there's people on YouTube that's certain channels that stream too. They probably looks like they got maybe 50 pounds or 100 pounds of powder, maybe more. I've got 8, 16. Probably got about total 30, 40 pounds.
I bet I have 30 or 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm probably.
But
At least that somewhere, if you count all the varieties, because I shoot so many different calibers.
Yeah, I wish there was. I didn't really know what I was in for with the powders, because you try one and then you're like, well, let's try another one, and then you're like, man, I just want to find one that I can just like push print and bang out and be happy with it. But then you're not happy with it. And you're like, well, maybe something else is better. And I have a Dillon. Oh, this way. I have a Dillon as well, and different powders work better in that if you want to, be consistent. And I guess I didn't know what I was in for. I really honestly thought that I could just spend like $3 or $4 grand and be able to just bang out 9mm. That's not true. Not possible. But I have probably too many primers. But when I was finding deals, I was just buying them. And like, I actually had probably 5,000 or 6,000 primers before my reloading bench was even set up, because I knew I was going to need them, and I knew the prices were going up, and places had them. And so like, I'd just grab them. And I have a solid supply of primers, although I am a little lacking in the large rifle primer category. But
yeah, I tried to log in, it dropped me out. I can't type in the comments on the StreamYard side. I have to go over to YouTube for some reason.
I'm gonna keep the boxes the way they were.
Yeah.
For now. I know that's what. I mean, regarding equipment, if you're very careful, get a lead turret, and instead. To me, when they always say, get that single stage. You'll always use that single stage. I talked about that the other day, a few days ago in the stream. You always get that single stage. You know what? The only thing I do that single stage is if I may do a rifle round on it, or I may deprime.
Yeah.
It's just basically sitting there. And most times if I deprime, I usually go to the Forester, because I don't have to worry about the primer. I just keep going bang, 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 bang like that. Then if I really am in a big hurry, I go to the 650 and just dump it all in the thing, and if they're go.
So me depriming, I've taken it all off of my Dillon when I use it. I don't deprime on my Marksman ever. I got a cheap little Lee $60 hand press, and that's the only thing I deprime on. So it gets dirty, and that's it.
I think Nick's got one of those, don't he, right there? Is that what's that one?
This is the Lee
Eagle
C press.
Yeah,
it's the C press or whatever. It was like 40 or 50 or 60 bucks. I don't remember, but I only bought that to neck up my 8.6 blackout. So I can chop it and then do a little preset of my shoulder, get it popped out pretty close, and then trim, and then take it over on the Dillon for the final procedure. Plus I have Lee cheap 8.6 blackout dies over here. And I have Hornady custom 8.6 blackout dies on the Dillon.
You like those Hornady dies?
Well, they're the only ones available for 8.6 blackout, other than the Lee.
Okay.
So that's why I got them. But no, I typically buy Redding dies typically.
Yeah, I started out with Redding, actually. Redding and some Forester's micro seeders. Even now, when I do 9 and 40, I want a micro seeder. So I actually took the Redding off, even though I'm doing 90 and 40 here lately. And I put the Lee on here because I can just reach up, take my thumb and bam, change the seating depth. The Redding, you got to get those pliers or channel locks and turn that little stupid lock ring, which I hate. So even though the dies are great, I still hate that lock.
They stay set well, and you can, I don't really have to make many adjustments once you're set up. And you have a different tool head for 9mm?
No, I don't do. No, I don't.
I have like 4 tool heads. I have a tool head for each caliber, so I don't have to reset anything. I can just swap right over to 9mm, and they're set the way they were last time. Obviously, you have to check them and fine tune them, but it's nice to swap those tool heads out. I recommend that. They're like $40 for a tool head. You can.
If you haven't checked these out, Eagle. I don't know if you check these out. These are Hornady lock and load bushings. They make one side, you put in your press. It just changes out in your press. And then you do these quarter turns. These are the best thing I've ever put on my single stage press.
I have that on my Lee C press.
Oh, so you know about them, yeah.
They're pretty good. They got like an O-ring in there that kind of keeps them stable.
Yep.
I actually cartridge. The one upgrade I did do to that thing you just showed, that lock and load system, I actually changed it to a little larger O-ring back in the day. I have a bunch of O-rings here, and I got a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Got a Viejo here. Dale Pogue joined us.
Yeah, what's up, Dale Pogue?
Good to see you guys. I gotta say, I'm not getting now. Granted, at bedtime sometimes I do cut my notifications off, and I forget sometimes to turn them on, and I miss some of your content. I was watching yours, the other day, and I watched one a little bit this evening. I think it was on the big screen. Sometimes I'm on the big screen. I'll go ahead and do a thumbs up on the big screen, and I won't do a comment, but I'll eventually get around to trying to comment if I can.
The video I posted on Sunday was about the shooting here in Texas.
I've seen that part of it.
That's about an hour from me, and that is a mall that I've been to before. Obviously, we weren't there, but it is an area that I know. That's actually where we take our Santa Claus pictures.
Oh boy!
The Santa that my wife likes is at that mall that was shot up. So yeah, I had a bit of a thought when I was reading those comments from those people. They think they've got it all figured out, and that background checks and all this stuff is just the magic potion that the GOP or the NRA just won't pass it because big firearms is to blame for, they're like, they actually will say things like, NRA has blood on its hands, or the GOP is trading money for lives, and it's it's real violent, and it's also very inaccurate, but it just keeps getting perpetuated out there. And I wanted to make a video about that a couple weeks ago, and then I saw the comments again, and I'm like, I'm gonna go do some research. I did about 20 or 30 minutes worth of research, punched some stats in, and what I thought was right was right. And big firearms is virtually $0 in Washington. Yeah, they're there and they're spending $13 million, but they don't even make the top 50 list of lobbies on the Hill. Pretty frustrating, because I keep thinking that, like, I could somehow help people understand, and I've been called naive and all sorts of things, but I just feel like I could help this conversation. And I know I can't, but I can't help but feel that I can help.
I'm glad you did it. What you did thing. Most people won't take the time to put it together and do that stuff. It's some of the talking points drive me nuts over the years. I'm more old school than you guys, and it's just like, I think you said something about what they say in there. Something you said in that video. I'm trying to think what it was. I can't remember right now.
You said something about that idea. Rational thought has nothing to do with it. They have a preconceived emotional position, and they're not going to change it for the facts.
Oh, I know what I was going to say was, they always go they'll start mentioning training, and I discussed this the other day on a live or coffee, and I said I cringe, because every time you usually get these people on internet going in these forums or whatever, YouTube, whatever, they'll go training. The problem is, once you start giving government the power to mandate training, pretty soon they control the gun ranges, and they'll federal regulate them, and they don't do that now. The state does, or you have a private, right? Okay, so that's a dangerous, I said it's a slippery slope, and it absolutely is. But you got all the young people, and maybe some older ones, definitely in the other party, they always want to go, we should need mandatory training, or keyword training. They leave the mandatory off, because they know that's not going to sound good.
So a lot of those programs, just in general, rubber meets the road. They haven't thought about what that actually looks like, how they would implement it, how they would track it, how they would pay for it, how any of that would happen. It's just a thrown out there thought, and then they put all their stock in it as if it's some sort of difference maker. That if we would just do more training, it was like, So I proposed the question out there about, and I think this is a really interesting like just thought process. Like, where does the line fall between like personal responsibility, freedom? Like, are we? And of course, you guys know I don't think this, but the premise is: are we overvaluing a right and putting down the ability to take care of it? So it's it's a really interesting position to think about. Like, so what about when your freedom infringes upon someone else? Like, and I know, us as gun owners, we think about that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think it's an interesting spot to be. But if the conversation could be had, I'm here for it. I would love to have a debate on my channel on a live stream with someone who's not gonna like just say bad words and yell at me and call me a racist or something. If someone would actually come on and debate me, I'm for it. And even if I get wrecked, I don't care. Like, I want to have the conversations,
Let's just do a live stream on that topic one night. We'll maybe plan it, you, whoever, and just come up with it.
I need to get an anti-gunner though to agree to come on.
Yeah, they may come
in.
Any
relatives? You got any relatives from Thanksgiving that you want to?
Most of my relatives are pro-gun, and boy, from years ago.
I got one that's totally irrational though. It would never give if you had to. So it's sad.
Yeah, when you go down that road, you get government regulation, you get everything. I think, like I said the other day, Australia went down that road. Pretty soon they were regulating gun ranges and mandatory training, and that, it's like Reagan said, the government, I'm from the government, I'm here to help.
Yeah.
You better run.
But, most dangerous words you can hear a politician say.
Yeah. If they could run their own life or our country, then we might listen to them, but they can't.
Well, the sad thing to me too is that you talked about having an honest debate, Eagle. It's just hardly going to have it anymore because the left has gone so far left. It's not the left of the 60s where they really were sort of the party of free speech, supposedly anyway. Now
classic liberals.
It's my opinion, or you need to be silenced, not free speech, which is why the Second Amendment is there in the first place.
Yeah, it's no longer good enough just to have a disagreement. It must be that, like, you must be destroyed. Like, we can't just walk away and say, well, I don't agree with that guy, and we walk away and go our separate ways. Now it's like, I don't agree with that guy, and he has to be destroyed. I don't. Exactly. I miss the classic liberals. Like, I'm in my 40s. I was around a little bit when there was some classic liberals. Like, they were loyal and always good for a debate, and like you could find some common ground with them, and their logic and thinking wasn't so far out that, like, nowadays you hear people talk and you're like, do you really think that, or are you just pushing buttons? Like, it's really hard to tell. And like the satire, it's almost like, is this a satire? Like, sometimes these tweets I see on Twitter, I'm like, is this for real? Are you trolling us, or do you really think that? Because I don't understand how you got there.
Colt says he's retired. That's all he does. We'll cover this another topic maybe down the road some night. Yeah. I'll say this as a final word on it. Reagan said, so much of what our liberal friends know is so wrong, or something like that. Don't quote me, but that's what he meant. He said, so much of what they know is just not right.
Reagan, yeah.
Yep. And he would just laugh it off. He wasn't a mean. Reagan was a trip. You'd try to nail him down years ago, even in they'd get the mics in front of him. He would just smile and turn around and walk off. He just wouldn't deal with it. He was
Mr. and Mrs. Wayne are here.
Hey, thank you for dropping in, Misty, Mrs. Wayne.
Hey,
Ron Wayne's with us. Appreciate it. Yeah, we started. Well, sometimes we go down the other holes, but we will talk about that more.
What was your topic?
Beginning reloading. Okay. That's why I said we'll go down that. We'll plan a show or something around that.
Yeah, maybe another show.
I'm into that stuff too, because the stuff they say don't make sense. I've heard every kind of comment in the news over the years that I've covered. Where one time a young girl got on there and says, "Oh my God, that 223-556 put a bullet hole in that person this big as your hand." I said, "Well, what does she think if you get shot with a 308 or 30-06 do to you?" Yeah, I mean, because she don't know. She don't know.
You see what happens when I send a 54 caliber muzzleloader ball that way. It's way more devastating.
And our founders used those kind of guns. Colt mentioned something earlier in the chat. Said something about imagine, and I remember, imagine if we had the AR-15 back in those days in 1776. What would have happened? I'll tell you what would have happened. George Washington would have said, "Give me the gun. Let's go."
I've told this to several people over the years. Being a muzzleloader guy originally, it's like
Mm-hmm.
the AR-15, actually the M16 of its day, was a rifled flintlock because the British sat back with round bores and they couldn't shoot accurately past really 75 yards,
Yeah,
and the
smooth
Americans are sitting
bores.
there at 150, 200 yards picking them off, and that was the modern, incredibly unfair weapon of the day that the Americans had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true, Woods. Appreciate you dropping in. Appreciate each and every one of you here. Mark's with
Woods
us.
also had a comment that says that he is a classic liberal, which there are gun guys that are classic liberals. He says he doesn't trust corporations, the man, or any of it, and like it's almost as if like he would be considered a libertarian these days, because that's an interesting spot. Good for you, Woods.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's all changed over the years. I've seen it. I'm older than you all, and I've seen it go from it's just totally extreme now. I mean, here's what what's out talk about, and I will leave politics alone after I say this. I was watching TV the other night. I got to say this though, and I can flip it like you said, Nick. I was watching Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And I'd be dang if he didn't sit there and talk, and I thought I was listening to Reagan for a minute. And I'm thinking, what the crap? I mean, I grew up with that, them. Now, everybody can go back and go, well, Jack Kennedy was conservative if you look kind of somewhat. Well, yeah, compared to now, yes. But it's just weird that he's sitting there. He wants the border closed entirely. So we'll cover that, and then I'll shut up. But I was amazed listening to him. Now, has he had a epiphany in his old age? I don't know. But he's challenging, I think what it is, he's upset that they cannot get a debate out of this man in the White House.
Yeah.
Coming. Crazy. So anyway, enough of that.
Reloading.
Yeah, reloading. Colt says he started with black powder. I've never did black powder, but I'd like to.
Me neither.
Good man, Colt.
Mark says Reagan wasn't perfect. Nope, he wasn't. Yeah. Well, I better shut up. Anyway, we go through these stages with reloading. All right. We decide to go take the factory rounds. We go shoot. We come back, or we buy brass. What do we do then? Yeah, I'm cheating. I'm looking over there. We come back and we go, well, now we need a trimmer. And then you got to figure out what brand. Here's my journey. I went with a Lee and ordered that fancy wooden ball, probably $8 back in the day. And I'm going to tell you, my thoughts on that is, I think I maybe did about 4 rounds of brass and 5. I threw that thing on the bench and it's still over there in the thing, and I've never touched it since. I give kudos to you guys that can use it. I can't stand it. It's like on that ball, and it, that tip cut, and it depends on the tip too. As it starts wearing, it'll change the case length a little bit. Depends on how tight you not tighten it too. That shaft, so that'll change it somewhat. And I got it here. I may give it away to somebody. I may give it to Bubba if he wants it. He's gonna say he's shoving bad stuff off on me, but I got it, and I've never used it. I couldn't handle it. I do want to get a what is it? One of those with the bushings, trim. What's the heck? I can't think of the name of it.
Are you the Wilson?
No.
Yeah, that's what you meant to say.
I've got the Wilson up here. I've got a Ellie Wilson, and I love it. It's good lathe for 308 and stuff. It's kind of hard on you unless you get the power adapter. Now you can get that, and it's better. But 556.
That's what I got on here.
Yeah, what trimmer is that? I actually don't know what trimmer I want, and I have the Lee one where the Hornady one where you crank. But I would love something better. But I don't really know what's better. I kind of just bought that one because it was on Amazon.
Yeah, this is probably, it may be not the fastest, although I get really fast with it, but this is the most precise. I mean, it is the way it's set up. It's dead nuts the same every time. So you put your piece of brass, this happens to be 30-06, slide it in here like a case bushing, and then you pop it into here, and they even have a micrometer in for it, but I just haven't been willing to pay another $100 for it. So stick in here, you adjust how far you want to trim it. It hits the same stop every time. And then you just bring the cutter in like that, and you're done. So it's really fast.
What is that one?
The brass will show you.
What's that one called?
Go ahead, Hasbro.
Well, I'm getting a piece of brass. You guys
Oh,
talk.
that's L.E. Wilson. It's kind of like I call it a mini lathe. There's several different versions of that. He's got the shaft version. Hang on, let me get another one. I'll show you a different version.
There you go.
Let me.
So here's 30-06.
You guys talk.
Just slide it in here, drop it down in there. You just lock it in place, and then you do this. This has already been trimmed and all, but it just trims it right up. When you put this little power, they come with a crank handle, but you can buy this little power adapter for like $20 or something. It's basically a welded on bit from a screwdriver.
Yeah.
And then it's got this cutter end on that end of it, and it works perfect. Really, I mean, every round is the same, exactly the same. So that's the good part of it. And then you just knock this piece out, and you're all done.
I'm
I
back.
don't mind the Hornady little cranky crank one. You know, you got to spin your wrist around a little bit. When I was processing like 50 rounds of 8.6 Blackout, it was a bit intense, but I don't know. Do I want it to so that index is off of the shoulder?
No,
What is that index off of?
It goes off the case head, and
Okay.
it centers it by
Case
the
head.
diameter of the case here, but the case head is what sets the depth.
Yep.
So you get everything really concentric, and so you cuts the end really flat and square, and then just the same every time because you can only go to a hard stop like that.
Yeah.
It's basically like a mini lathe. That's how accurate it is.
That
Yeah.
works.
I got this version. Now, there's two versions of this. There's his version. There's this version here with a stainless. This has got a stainless steel on it.
Is this a
Micrometer. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's the next one up.
And I also got, this is a Sinclair special where they give you the platform. They give you a little puck,
Oh yeah.
little nylon puck, and they get, you got bushing holders back here and everything. Now,
On
the
Mac's
first,
show, he has to get out the Mac Daddy trimmer right there. That's what he's doing.
yeah. Now, this thing comes with an aluminum one, which has a black one. I actually returned it to years ago to Brownells, and I went with a stainless micrometer. To me, it's just better. The aluminum, typically the reviews, it said kind of seems to want to work loose, and I've had good luck with this. I mean, it's a great one, and Macman uses it. And by the way, I was just thinking, we're sitting here doing a show, fill in for Mac, and we're sitting here talking politics. Mac has a policy: don't talk politics. But he said I could talk about what we want, but everything's fine. But we're mostly talking reloading anyway. But this is a fill in for Macman. His slot. I'll be doing it tonight for probably about an hour. We're not going to stay on long, and then next Monday I'll be doing it. Then he'll be back in town.
On this AR, like we were talking on the backside, is this is really only needed for rifle rounds, right? If you start reloading a 9mm, you're probably never ever going to trim a case or 45, any straight wall pistol. You never need to. This is only really rifles.
Yeah,
that you need this stuff, and necked rifles, right? Not straight wall.
At one time, L.E. Wilson actually had a 9mm bushing for that, and it had a little stainless steel insert in it. I actually tried to get it, but I realized I didn't need it. So I'm one of
those dummies that owns one of those. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Do you?
When I was getting into reloading, I bought this. So I bought this in 1996 when I started modern reloading, and still perfect.
Yeah, L.E. Wilson, you get them sometime for, I think I paid $159. You can hook them like Macman does. He hooks his little Milwaukee little drill, which a screwdriver actually. I have one too. I just got to buy the power adapter, and he says there and just runs the L.E. Wilson. I was going to say what I was thinking earlier. The best thing I want to eventually get, if I'm going to do Buck 223-556, is going to be Little Crow Gunworks, world's perfect trimmer.
Look at that one. I don't know why I didn't decide on that one. That was on my list because it was recommended. Maybe you recommended it because I'm sure I asked you and Echo.
It's a good one. And what's good about it, you can get the single one. A little bit more, you get the one that has two different bushings. You can do like 308 or 556. Right. So you can't beat it. Now, it does space off the neck. That one does. So
I think that's why I didn't choose that one.
Yeah, so depending on how your sizing down, how good you are at reloading, I guess how good you are. If you stay consistent, it'll be right on.
I also think they didn't have a 338. I think they didn't have a 338 option. I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't choose that one as well.
Maybe. Yeah, you're probably right.
I was mostly needing to trim 8.6 blackout like right away. Obviously, I can meld into other calibers as they need trimmed, but even 6.5 Creedmoor doesn't move much. 223 I think moves the most. 308 I've heard moves quite a bit. What, like 2-3 reloads and then you got to trim. I've got some of my 6.5 Creedmoor I've shot 5 or 6 times. I haven't trimmed any of it.
Wow. Excuse me, guys. Boys, pollen's killing me. Hey, we got a good crowd in here tonight. Can you believe this? Good. Viejo joined us earlier. I want to say hello. Rasta Ralph. Rasta Ralph. I hope I pronounced that. If I don't, I apologize. He says, greetings. Oh, can you suggest a great PCP compressor? I don't know what a piece. Anybody know what a PCP? I know what a compressor is.
Pistol caliber carbine, is that what you mean? PCC?
He's saying
Maybe
compressor.
PCC
Oh,
suppressor.
sorry, I missed it.
Oh, okay.
PCP.
Maybe, I don't know.
Rephrase it,
Isn't that Angel Dust?
Rasta. And we might can answer your question. Colt says he has my type trimmer. Yeah, Sinclair, Brownells owns them. They come up with it. It's got little rubber feet on it, so it's nice. I never regret getting this, especially for 308 or whatever I load in the future with it. And it's just great. I keep that in there. That way, if I do want to, change the length a little bit or whatever, I can just crank it and tighten it right quick. But that's a purchase that I'm going to get the little crow's necks probably. I'll tell you another one I would love to have. It's very expensive, but they got a cheap version. That's probably not going to pronounce Gerard. They got a big one. It's a very high dollar, but they also got one that used to be for $99 for a drill. It has a little plexiglass window, and it does everything. It chamfer, deburrs, and cuts the brass. So you just push it in, and you're done. Have you heard of that one, Hasbro?
I don't think I have.
A few years ago, it was out there for sale all the time, and most people didn't talk about it, even in most lives either or videos. Huh. Only a few videos even on YouTube about it. And, it works. And there's another company had a version of it that almost was similar, except it was red. I just can't remember the name of it. It's been so many years since
I don't remember. Time, honestly. I got my Dillon 550, and I guarantee I have 15 different tool heads set up and dies set up for all these different calibers. And all I did was use that Dillon, my dry tumbler, and then that Wilson trimmer. And I didn't even look at anything else. I had my scale. I thought I was all set, and then I started, unfortunately, getting ARs and changing everything up again.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, what we were talking about earlier is that we always go down the rabbit hole of reloading, and we find out, we get home, we need a trimmer. And what trimmer do we get? It's like it never stops. Like right now, I need I need the Little Crow Gun Works for 5.56 or the Gerard, if I can still get it. I did look at it. It was out of stock here a few months ago. What else do I need? I'm trying to think that I want. Oh, I'd like to have the Dillon tumbler, even though a few years ago, I got the Frankfurt Arsenal vibratory tumbler. The whole kit on a flash sale on Amazon for like $50 doggone dollars. Now it's like 89 or 100, almost double. It's over here on the floor, actually. I use it occasionally to get lube off. And then I turned around, I went down the hole, I bought a World's Tumblers tumbler. They have 2 versions of that, rock tumblers. I got that in the closet. I liked it, and then I realized Frankfurt Arsenal actually is easier to use, and I just knew it just by looking at it, and I got Frankfurt Arsenal, and that's all I use.
Is that the wet tumbler, the fart, the
yes,
F-A-R-T?
The fart. What it is, that lid, you can just crack it open and dump it so much easier, and got the little strainers. You don't have that with a tumbler's tumbler. It's a little more awkward to use in a sink or wherever you use it at.
I've been using their wet tumbler, the big one, for at least 5 years. And it was so good. 2 years ago, I found one on sale for $100. I bought another one, and it's still in the box.
I don't blame you. I would do it too. You can't beat the fart. I hate saying that live, but you can't beat a fart.
So I have a pretty good sized sonic cleaner that I can get a handful of rounds in. And typically what I'll do is I'll sonic clean it first and then tumble it. But the tumbler does such a good job. I have the one from Harbor Freight, and it does just great. And yeah, but I just use this little screen, this little gold panning screen, and I dump it in there, and it's really not a big deal to sort out and I would prefer to keep it dry and not go wet, because then I have to wait for it to dry. So I just typically, my brass is picked up, it's never really very dirty. I'm just going to polish it really and keep it dry. Then I can reload it right away. I don't have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use pins in it or not?
No, I just do a little bit of metal final polish with the
you're not doing
in there,
liquid.
walnut.
You're doing dry media. I thought you were doing.
I prefer to stay dry
and
not go wet. If I don't have to use a sonic cleaner, I don't.
Oh man, I do everything wet now. I have 2 of the big vibratory bowls just sitting there doing nothing. And the reason I did that is that I also have a dehydrator, cheap one from Walmart. So I clean them, they get clean like nothing else, and then I throw them in there, dehydrate them, and I'm done really fast. So I don't use my dry ones at all. So if I ever roll down to Texas, I'll bring you one of them.
Okay.
I've heard Walter mention that before. Under certain circumstance, you do trim handgun brass.
Because the biggest thing, right, is, and I'm sure you guys have all experienced this, I hate going through every round with a paper clip, punching out little pieces that get stuck in the primer hole. And it's like, that's what you get when you do dry stuff. If you don't, you're going to get one blocked. And with the pins, I rarely ever get one stuck. I just make sure they're really dry and everything falls out. So,
wish we could do the screenshot. I don't do screenshots on here of side chat. So, guys, apologize for that. But you can type what it is if you want. The web, actually, it won't do a web address unless you are a mod. But who else we got on here? Brutal Bob. Chris jumped in here. Chris from the 740.
What's up, Chris?
Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm going to start taking a little bit different path. I was talking to Echo today in a text for first time in a while, and I almost had him on the show tonight, guys. I thought he was going to be there almost. Well, the last 30 minutes or hour, I texted him. I realized, nope, I don't think it's going to happen. But he may show up here in a week or two. Who knows?
He figured out his internet, though, didn't he?
We were going to work on the internet's okay now. He's got to he's got to get his PC hooked up, the HDMI cables, and we got to get on there and do all of that on the backside. Get everything set up for him. Yeah. He just hadn't did it. He's been going through a lot with that separation, divorce and all that.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about doing a shoot at his place in the fall. I told you about the AR driving the RV down there. We may have to take an armed posse and drag him out of the woods.
And again, he may not be there. Remember, Hasbro.
That's true.
Yeah, so
camo.
He may be making a change, but we'll let him announce that. That's his business.
Okay.
But I did get some. I'll throw this out to the guys that know me. I did get some good news, which I already knew it. Really, I called the guy today about my motor on my vet, and he says, when you get a chance, I want the paperwork, draw up. I want to, write down the warranty and all that. And he says, motor's okay. Well, I know the motor's okay. I said, I've already, he said, thinks it's the flex plate. And I said, yeah, I've already thought it's flex plate too. I just can't isolate it. I said, but also I can hear the rocker arms fluttering too. So it's probably got I still think it's got weak valve springs. And here we go flipping subjects, but I wanted to let you guys that know me that I had some news on that. So I may not have to have the motor pulled, but I may have to have transmission pulled, may still do the top end. And either way, I'm going to get it, but it's just probably a little faster, maybe. Hopefully I'll have it by midsummer. And then we might go on that trip. I might head up there if he's still there. Because it's got air. My old truck, I got a 4-wheel drive. It don't have air. So good to see you guys. Let me go through this chat right quick here. We got a good crowd in here. We got 26 now. I had 27. Appreciate each and every one of you here. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it. Tactical Fud joined us earlier. Coke 1927, Kingpin, Info Bros, Dale Poe, Rebel 60. I should know better than that. 67 Rebel SST AMC. That was a car. Packer 64, Brutal Bob, What's up, Bob? PA Reloader. Dale Pogue. Mark Thomas is with us. Andre D'Angelo. G23. Good to see you, PA.
Here.
Is he? I haven't got there yet. VA Ho's with us. Peterson Family Farms of Nashville. Thank you for being here. He comes on Mac's stream, and I am in the time slot, so I appreciate you guys showing up tonight. I tried to text Mac, but probably he don't have service where he's at. So G23, Mark, Dale Pogue.
Going to Alaska on that cruise, do you know?
Somewhere, I forget now.
He's in British
he's on
Columbia, so I assume he's going to Alaska.
Anniversary trip or something, right?
We did that.
Yeah, I think so.
I did that, I guess it's about 4 years ago. That was so amazing doing that.
Bubba, I always mess it up. Triclops. Bubba Triclops Ballistics.
Yeah. Right here.
I always want to say Triclops. But kidding. Mark Thomas, who else here is with us? Good crowd in here. Broke Loader 2 joined us. Good to see you, Broke Loader. GGW Outdoors joined us. Colt, I called. Crazy Gearhead joined us. CW, you said, so I'll call him out. Woods joined us earlier. Hillbilly Up joined us. Good to see you, Hillbilly. I seen you a little bit of video before the show come, man. He got a 357 Rossi. Check that out. Can't beat it. 38 and 357. And it's stainless steel, too. Hasbro up here in the box. Appreciate you being here, Hasbro. Appreciate you, Nick, being here. I mean, I don't know why I want to say that, because I usually always go channel names. I apologize.
You get him identified and
Echo used to slip and call my name occasionally. I go, don't do that. Don't do that.
It's like my kids on a walkie-talkie. It's so funny sometimes. They'll get on a radio using their names. I'm like, no names on the radio.
Reloader 762 joined us. Good to see you, Reloader. Who else here?
Gizzard Gary and
Gizzard Gary jumped in here. Wow.
Yeah.
Dale Pogue. Peterson Farms from Nashville. I called. Good to see you. I appreciate you dropping in. They're always usually with Mike. I actually went on their channel and watched a video. Or a short. I forget which one it was now. Bernie Sanchez joined us. Good to see you, Bernie. Bernie's always with us. Running around,
is that
too.
Burnaby?
Burnaby? Yeah, I call him Bernie.
Burnaby?
Yeah, he's changed it several times. You just call him Bernie. I do.
So Brutal Bob is telling you to load up your guns and go to him, and he'll provide the ammunition.
He probably would. Yep.
Where is Brutal Bob? What state is he in?
Road trip.
Yeah, he's up north.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Woods is with
Bob.
us.
Ain't going north.
PA Reloader.
Oh, you get about July or August, you might want to go north.
Ron Wayne joined us.
I'm in it. I'm in it to win it in the summertime.
Ron Wayne joined us. Miss Ron Wayne joined us. Or is it Misty? I ain't got to her name yet. Misty, Mrs. Wayne. Good to see you if you're still listening. Misty, yeah. Misty, Mrs. Wayne. Appreciate you being here.
I'm quasi planning a little Eagle Run 2-3 shoot 'em up event. Apparently, I just learned this a week ago. The NRA show is going to be in Dallas next May. And I'm in Fort Worth, so I'm near Fort Worth. I'm on the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex. So I'm thinking that I'm going to host a big YouTube shoot. I've got property. We can go hog hunting. We can shoot some distance. And my buddy Carl, he's the owner of the gun that I exploded. He has property. And of course I have friends and family with property. We could do some hog hunting and
I'd love to
shoot some videos, like some blow up some watermelons or whatever we want to do. So I'm starting to work on that. I got a year to plan it, but I think Chris from the 740 is coming down for the show, and Chicago Mike the Shooter and a couple people like that.
I've seen him.
So yeah, I think I might plan a little Eagle Run YouTuber shoot.
That would be cool.
My Corvette probably be ready by then.
Oh.
Yeah.
Drive
So I'll be able to head out there. Plus I got air. I got my air went down on my 4-wheel drive
I'll
a
bring the
few years
RV
back.
down, but diesel might be $8 a gallon by then.
I wished I had an RV. Let's see who else is with us. Info Bros joined us. Vanessa Kitty's with us. Woods is with us. Hillbilly up, of course. I think that's about it. Curtis Long joined us early. Good to see you, Curtis.
I think, Vanessa, you told me that before, that you lived in Fort Worth years ago.
Yeah, you're in Texas, right? Rasta Ralph has joined us. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah, he was the one asking about the compressor suppressor, but it was actually for his air gun. We figured it out.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Walnut
Eagle,
and
what was
steel.
what was your website for your coffee? I've been meaning to get some over there, and I can't remember it.
ARguns1776.com.
Oh, it's that easy? It figures.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it being a .com.
I just decided to connect the Eagle Run stuff with my coffee company. It's actually TexasParksOutlet.com, but EagleRun23.com connects right to it. So
Perfect.
I remember that name.
You get it set up. It made me think about it. I tell AR I'm going to go on a road trip in that RV, and that would be perfect for that. Because normally we're using Keurig and crap like that at the house, but I don't take that on the road.
Got CW with us. Good to see you, CW.
May of 24. Come on down, Hasbro.
Let me see. I'm going to scroll
So
up.
you said the pecan is really good, right?
The pecan, I have a fresh batch of pecan shipping out today and tomorrow.
All right, I'm all in.
Don't order a sticker. I'm going to send, just order some. If you want a coffee, that's fine. I'll send you some stickers for gratis.
Got somebody here new, 193A4. I don't remember that.
1903A4. I think, is that
That's the way I break down numbers sometimes. We used to have so many numbers where I worked at, I'd break it down in chunks. Like 1903A4.
That's surely that's a gun, isn't it?
I'm not familiar with it. Maybe.
Let me Google it.
I think it is a gun. Yeah, it is a gun. He's got a thumbnail as a gun there. It's got one of those old, looks like old-fashioned scopes back in the Western days. Yeah, CW joined us. Good to see you, CW. Hope you and your wife are doing, hope you all do well. Prayers for you.
Oh, that's a Remington M82. Yeah, that's an old rifle.
Yeah. I can tell the scope's old. Excuse me, I got a cough. I was out cutting, cut one fig tree down, which I regret now. I was telling Hasbro. I was out there cutting a fig tree. Now I lost my heat pump shade, and where my dog, I'd take him out at night. And that big old giant, probably about 10 foot tall, at least 10 foot tall fig tree. And it was putting out figs. Of course, I got another one on the end of the house also. So James Pollard joined us. Thanks for dropping in.
Fig trees. You're cutting fig trees down? I just planted fig trees.
I'm going to let where I chopped today. I know I regret it already.
Oh, you trimmed. Okay.
No, I cut it down, but there's only about a foot of sticking out of the ground. Back. Yeah, I do have some sprouts. I'm just going to leave it, cut that down further and just leave it and let it regrow because it shaded my entire kitchen window, my heat pump and everything, and my side of my house.
The first hot day and you're like, dang it.
Yeah. I just got out there. Well, I was wanting to cut the one on the end of the house, so I got doing it, and I said, I'm going to cut that thing down. Then I got thinking, probably was being a little impulse-driven there. So now I regret it, because it takes 4 or 5 years to get that thing back any decent size, if I remember, somewhere around 5 years. It didn't take too long. They grow pretty fast.
They grow pretty quick. I've got an LSU fig, and I've got a white Italian fig, and then I have one other kind of fig. But when I'm planting stuff, not anymore these days. When I plant stuff, I'm pretty much only planting things that produce food. Mm-hmm. So I'm not planting anymore like crepe myrtles and stuff that just flowers. I'm not doing that anymore. If I want a tree, it's going to have to earn its keep.
Tell you what, we got Hasbro. Can you do me a favor?
Yep.
Would you mind spinning the giveaway wheel?
I can do it.
I
don't know that it'll work though because I'm not logged into your stream.
Oh,
try it.
Oh, that's right. You don't. Okay, I got Echo in there as admin. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it. That'd be
okay. Okay. We'll do it next week.
All right.
It's almost been an hour now, and I'm going to shut the show here shortly.
Yeah, because for sure
But,
I have the tool, but all right.
Stick with us, guys. Next Monday, we'll do a drawing before Matt gets back. I should have prepared for it. What it is, I got to go in and remove echo and then replace it. I was thinking about that this evening, actually. And I kind of ran late watching television there for a while. I was watching Nick of Eagle. I was going to say. I do it every time. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Only your
tonight.
subscribers are going to know my name.
Yeah. They know my name now. And what's really weird is other communities on YouTube know my name more than you all do. Because that's all they do is call each other the first name. I think I mentioned that the last stream we all did. They just, it confuses me sometimes when I first started adjusting to it. It was a little different because I basically go by channel name. Even in the side chat, it's your channel name. But anyway, we got 24 on. It's almost 10 o'clock. That's about an hour. We're going to wind it down here in a few minutes, guys.
Well, we talked about a couple other things. You talked about first-time reloader things,
Yep.
This is one to get. It's a cartridge case gauge, and you check loaded rounds with it, right? So when you're first doing reloading, if you don't have this is really a good thing to get. You do multiple. This happens to be pistol calibers, and here's a 45 Colt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Empty, well, more or less. And you just let it drop in. If everything's right, it'll be flush with that top and not sticking out. So these are simple and cheap, and everybody should, when you're doing reloading, especially pistol, well, anything actually, you should get these.
Yeah, case gauges. I left case gauges off the list. Actually, I didn't do the list right almost when the show started.
Well, that's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another one I set out so we could talk about. And this is a trim. And so when you do rifle and you trim your cases, that's not the last step. You have to deburr and chamfer. So you clean up the inside of the case, you clean up the outside of the case. This is one I like just because it's only like 60 or 70 bucks, and it's worked for 10 years now. So
wow,
that's a cool looking contraption. Never seen one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have one that does 3 different operations. You can do primer pockets, I think, too. But you can lock this thing on, basically, right? And sorry, I forget it.
Oh, and she just runs.
Oh yeah, you lock it here, and you just set it on your bench, right? And then you just stick case after case on it, and trim and reburr, and it's fine. It works real good. The thing it does do, though, if you do piles of brass, your hand's going to get tired because you're gripping that case, fighting this.
Yeah.
But for a few hundred, it's perfect for me, and that's what I do 200-300 at a time.
Mm-hmm. I tell you something I never regret buying. It's something else a new reloader can get if you do 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6, and that is the ballistic gauge primer pockets gauge, swage gauge.
Yep.
That thing has been, man. I mean, I'll sit there and go right through it. That way, it don't give you no hiccups. I got a 308 and the 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6 version. So they're good. And Sheridan gauges are good. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I was going to show you. I got a Sheridan cage. I got a Sheridan right here in my hand with the slot.
Those are cool.
That was on my mind. That's why I blurted it out. Those are nice gauges.
I got a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I got a 6.5 Grendel, I think. Yeah, 6.5 Grendel.
Nice.
I think I sold them a lot of case gauges, and so they were nice enough to make me a deal here. So CW, in fact, when I posted the video that got me a lot of subs, was about this case gauge. And CW was, his comment is still pinned on that video, because case gauges are tricky, and sometimes they're not always what you think they are. Like there's a checker, and then there's these are fine for loaded ammo. Some of them don't work for loaded ammo. Like the Lyman one you showed is a case checker, right?
They call it ammo
checker. This is for loaded rounds only, right? Yeah. And if you don't use them for just the case.
Yeah, that's like a plunk, that's like a barrel plunk test.
And I have this too. EGW is a chamber checker.
It's basically will make a SAMI chamber and not hit the lead bullet, hit the bullet. Right?
And if you need a reloader, can't leave this off. You're gonna need a whacker, a bullet whacker. So don't forget that.
I have one of those.
You will need it. I bought the Lyman Mag Pro or something like that, Magnum, and it's tough as nails. And I did lose one of the
in the package.
Is it?
Haven't used it
Most
yet.
most reloaders going to drop a bullet occasionally, or knock one out. But it came with 2 inserts, and I lost one, and I ordered like a 3 or 4 pack on Amazon for like $6 here a while back. So I got all sizes now, and it's pretty fast. You hit the right thing, it works, and it's heavy duty. It's not thin like a lot of the others are. But,
yeah, Colt 1927 says Wilson. I like the Wilson. That would be my first choice, especially if you don't care about like the slotted part, like the Sheridans. Wilson, I think the LE Wilsons, you should get one for every caliber. These are, a bit of a novelty, but they're kind of cool. And since I make YouTube videos, it's nice to have the slot so that I can actually, show, we can actually see what's going on inside there. You're more than able, or you're more than capable of figuring out what's going on inside there if it doesn't fit, just with your calipers, because those are all known measurements. So if it doesn't fit, you should be able to figure out why with a pair of calipers or comparators, or some sort of anything like that, some sort of measurement. You can figure out what's going on, but it sure is nice to see what's going on sometimes too.
I wanted to switch back here to Viejo. He's right. I believe that tighter tolerances. His Lyman pistol gauge is too loose. Semi-auto rounds that chamber in it frequently won't chamber in my firearms.
Oh.
More expensive, but tighter tolerance. L.E. Wilson is known for good tooling. So I believe that, definitely. And
I'll show you something that's a mark of shame that every reloader has to have. I'll show you the package first. This is really old, but I've used it many, many years.
oh, yeah.
So if you guys are getting in reloading, go buy one of these, because you're going to need it sooner or later, especially in 5.56. But basically, you're going to get one stuck in the die sooner or later, and you have to drill out a hole, tap the threads, and then you thread this thing into the top of it and tighten it, and it'll pull the case out eventually. But this is kind of a mark of shame for me anymore, because when I don't get the lube right and I stick a case, I get really ticked off.
I've only stuck one case in probably 8 or 9 years.
Well, I've mastered
I haven't had my first
tool.
yet.
But I do need one of
mastered
those.
the use of this one.
Got James Pollard with us. Chad Kelly joined us. Good to see you, Chad. Thanks for dropping by,
saying
James.
chamber. What's he say? CW says chamber checkers and case gauges are not the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
I definitely mixed that up in one of my videos, and that's why I pinned his comment, because I guess I said that mistakenly, I guess maybe out of some ignorance, because I thought I knew something.
Yeah, we covered most of it without beating a horse to death tonight, which I said that earlier. So just basic stuff, but you will always find you want something in reloading. Believe me, I bought way more. Like I got 4 presses now. And I said this before. I got a Big Boss 2 Redding, which I don't regret, even though I don't use it much. The Redding T7 I use a lot. 650 I don't use that much. Mostly I kind of use the 650 kind of like Mac does the 1050. I process. Hey, let me drop that. I run either prime through it rapidly or I'll size through it rapidly, 5.56. But actually sit there and, load round after round, I don't typically do it. Now, if I get my 9mm Dillon conversion kit, I'll probably load, like that, around every time I pull the handle. But,
that's why I bought it, because I thought that was what I wanted. Then I realized I might need something else. But if I keep my Dillon and I just run 9mm on it, I would say it's still worth it. But I think I'm going to get that Area 419.
The chamber.
Cool.
Let me clarify this a little bit. A chamber checker kind of does the whole round, the bullet length and all that. I did a stream on that, and Walter was talking about that. Me and Walter spoke about it. It on my 9mm EGW, it actually tells you when the bullet's too long. It won't chamber. And when you get the bullet, whatever profile it is, right, it seats in the ammo checker. So they're good. I have 2. Actually, one's my brother's and one's mine. But,
we mentioned one other thing here too, AR, and we haven't talked about that.
High gauging.
You got to have some calipers, and they don't have to be expensive ones. Be honest, these are like $25, and they're just as good as anything. They really do. I have 4 of these, and I usually just leave them in different operations, different things on them. But you got to have this stuff, because you got to be checking what's in these books. They give you overall links, whatever. or you put different comparators on the end of it to check, ogive and things, cartridge-based ogive, stuff like that. But you got to have these. I was going to show you this. This is one of the cheap things you got to have too. And you get different people. I've got 9mm big cheese puff container, but just cheap peanut container, any kind of plastic container like that's easy to use to keep your brass separated, especially in rifles. How many times you fire it, especially high pressure rifles, keeping track of that sort of stuff. And it doesn't have to be expensive. You can find anything like that and use it.
I bought a lot of containers from Dollar Tree for $1 each.
Yep.
And my daughter bought me some. That
leads to, right? All of this that we're talking about tonight, beginning reloading, leads you to OCD. You get that, right?
Wow.
That's 6.5 Grendel at 100 yards. That's a
Cool.
.32 MOA group. It's 5 rounds. And so, you get OCD. Now, how much did that cost me to get from like this to that? A lot of money, a lot of time. But that's the hobby, right?
Worth it.
Yeah, there's nothing like shooting your own ammo. It really is a thrill. And I was saying that. Go ahead.
Well, Grendel's, I'm loving Grendel right now. I haven't reloaded it yet, but I'm loving Grendel. I love my Grendel gun, and I think I'm going to make another one.
I
want a Grendel.
They're so versatile. That's what I like about them.
I've got the same calipers, eye gauging. I think I paid $41 for them. I tell you the good thing about these, I will say this, and I'm not knocking any manufacturer, but the ones with a small button die all the time. The ones with a big button battery in these, man, you can leave them on overnight, and them things still run for months. But the small button ones, the battery ones, man, I had no luck with them. They were dying every time I turned around. I was having to go to Dollar Tree and buy a battery. So I bought these eye gauging, and no more problems.
Maybe it was the Dollar Tree batteries, AR.
I bought name brand too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Walmart.
The big battery just lasts longer, and the small battery the capacity is just not there. I got Hornady RCBS. I think takes the small battery, and it's not even worth the hassle, in my opinion. Check out eye gauging, and eye gauging works good. Elster's got it, Hasbro's got it, and I got it. You have one eye gauging?
Brand?
Yeah.
No, mine is Nico. It was like $60. I like it.
Okay, you got a $100 one then.
I mean, it's just one of the things you don't have to have Mitutoyo, or you don't have to have stare it. They're great, If you have a business reason to have one of those, that's fine, because they get certifications that make sure they're accurate, whatever. But for reloading, I found these to be very repeatable and very good.
Yep, Chad.
I've been reloading for 2 years. I've used a caliper more times in the last 2 years than I did the 39 years before that.
Yeah.
Combined.
Sorry about that.
But a lot of stuff we're showing and talking about tonight is not expensive. That Wilson trimmer is probably overkill for most people's needs,
Yeah.
But, simple calipers, simple case checking stuff. You don't need a lot to get reloading, especially in pistol cartridges.
Yeah, and if you're going to do the 5.56, just get a world's finest trimmer, like we said, about $79.
Even that Lee press that he's got behind him, I told you I use just for decapping, will do a fine job on pistol if you're patient enough. It's not as feature rich as some of the others, but if you're getting started cheap, I mean, $200, $250, something like that, will get you all the equipment you need to get going.
I like CW here. Yeah, I've quit. My new one I got, wouldn't you figure this? Listen to this, guys. My one dream press is the Dillon RL 1100. And wouldn't you know, it's $23.99. It used to be $2100. So I have to end up, and that's the way I've always been. So I want that. That's that other toy I want. And Candy.
Did Mac have like 3 of those in the background of his videos?
I think he's got one 1050. And he had some 650. I think he went to 750, I think. But he mostly used 1050 for process. That's what I'm going to do. But there's just something about that RL 1100 1050. It's just, I like good equipment. That stuff's nice, commercial grade.
I kind of agree with CW's comment there, digitals for something. I just have all digitals, but if I had a dial, I'd be using it first too.
I have that too. and I do use it. And it's about I paid 20, probably back when they were like $20, $22.
Not anymore.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, look on YouTube, not YouTube, look on eBay. Sometimes you'll see, zoom in on it. You'll see a good used Starrett or something, or a Japan caliper. And it'll be like $100 or $80, $90 sometimes. Check those out. Sometimes you can get a good one.
James, I'm looking for a ball caliper.
I need one of those.
Yeah.
Where I can do my case wall thicknesses.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one on Amazon that was not cheap. It wasn't like an off-brand something, but when they sent it to me, it didn't actually do what I wanted it to do. It didn't have two balls that come together. It was like one was flat and the other one, and the one that I was looking at that's actually made for reloading is two balls that go together, so you can get a little bit more of an accurate reading. But I need to look back into that. I haven't looked at it in 6 months, but I'd like to get one.
Utoyo, yeah, they're good calipers right there, Japanese grade. The digital kept going dead. Wow. Yeah, I don't think on digital I wouldn't spend a lot of money, but on a dial I would spend $100 or more for Starrett or whatever it is. Definitely. But digital, I just go with eye gauging. I mean, $40, $50, Chris. Eagle's got one here, similar, a little more expensive than eye gauging. I think I first seen these, on Elster's Rifles and Reloading, and they are good, and it always reads pretty accurate too. I've had it for several years.
I don't know.
Also, get you some Unique. That will be your best friend. Some stuck case gauges or stuck cases. To say. And it's cheap compared to the other Imperial and stuff. And I've got homemade lanolin over here. Okay.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I use this stuff, but this is what has stuck more cases for me than anything. I stuck 30-06 military brass like you can't believe with this. And
it's
I switched over to Imperial and no issue.
Wow. Let's see your thing again, Nick, your caliper.
Oh, the let's see. I try to get the
name's familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I've had it for 2 years. I think I'm on my second battery. Maybe it is a big button battery. No, that's a small button battery.
That's what I was thinking of. He says, as long as the inside is a ball, the outside can be flat and you're good to go. That's what I was thinking when you said that, Eagle. You don't really need the two balls.
Well, I already sent it back, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Amazon.
You like what you like. You like what you like.
Yeah. So
there's no right and wrong when reloading. So.
My wife will I will never return anything ever. Once I buy it, it's mine. But my wife, she will return some things, and so we have an arrangement to where she'll return my Amazon things, but she gets to keep the money, which I'm okay with because otherwise it would just waste on my desk or on my workbench. And so at least it's doing some good.
Good to see Bald.
Do you have to be home to intercept the packages first before they get all returned?
Well, I kind of work from home, so I get first dibs on the packages.
Bald and Curious joined us. Welcome. Good to see you, Bald.
My mother-in-law, she picks up our children after school every day. And I was gone doing something, and a large amount of ammunition came to the front porch with adult signature required. And my mother-in-law was a little concerned about how big these boxes were. She's like, why did I have to sign for it? I'm like, some of the companies, Guerrilla Ammunition, they make you sign for adult packages. So anyway, what did I sign for? I'm like, don't worry about it.
I've got 2 homemade case lanolin I made back there. That's where I got the stuck case from, by the way, is the homemade lanolin. And I made it the way you should. DWD37 just joined us.
But it didn't work?
Bald and Curious joined us a little earlier. Who else?
You made it how it should, but it didn't work?
Pardon?
You said you made it how it should, but it didn't work.
I mixed it. Yeah, I mixed it up how you should. The parts, that dilution rate, and it got actually stuck in a Dillon sizer 223-556. What's weird is I switched to the Redding in it, and I never had a stuck case since. And I looked at the Dillon, it's shiny, but it just sticks for some reason with that particular lube.
So I've only ever used the wax. I have the spray. I have the Dillon spray. I have the one-shot spray. I've never used them. I've only used the wax, and I've never had a stuck case.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was going to buy the RCBS, Walter. Yeah, absolutely. For case check, you want that. That's great to have. And I'm going to eventually get in the neck turning, but I got to get me a backup precision rifle first.
Viejo, does it have a ball on each side? That's what we're trying to figure out. Because I think the RCBS one is maybe the one that was like intended for reloading, and I think it's got a ball on each side. Because they call it like an anvil and a ball. I think that's the terms that they use.
Right.
I've seen the RCBS, but I'm not that familiar with it. I haven't looked at it in quite a while. That's probably one I'll get.
Ball
But I'm gonna eventually. I miss my rifle. That I do. I want to get one again and get a good scope and do some. About the range I'm going to go to has, I think, 400 yards. Of course, we got Kyle Lusk. I think he's got some land. It's got 1,000 yards, and there's one thing in Tennessee. Forget what CW knows the name of that place. It's got like 1,000-yard ranges.
Dead
Chris
Zero.
and all them went here recently. Yeah, Dead Zero.
Dead Zero. I'm definitely going to hit that place up. It's about 4 hours from me or so.
Where is it at?
I forget the city in Tennessee, but it's in Tennessee. Just a little bit east of Nashville.
Crosby, Tennessee, or something like that.
And I was just in Memphis not long ago. Actually rode for the first time into Arkansas, across the bridge in Memphis. Rode into Arkansas. I said, now I can say I've been to Arkansas a little bit.
Check that one off the list.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you coming in here tonight. Good thing about calling them off, if you can, is they pop in here. You don't have to go back and do the long call out. My throat, my chest is really bothering me lately. My voice is getting crazy, so overlook me. Not on that. What is Mark saying here?
Spencer, Tennessee. Okay.
Talking about Blackhawk. I wish they had me a stainless steel Blackhawk 44 mag. I almost bought a while back. I went to a gun store and they had a used Vaquero Ruger stainless shiny with a black grip. It didn't have the wood grip, it had the black grip. Man, I had the sweetest hammer I've ever seen. I don't know if it came that way, but it was just nice. Easy to pull back. I said, I want that gun. I think about $780 for that thing in 45 coat. Long coat. I know there's a little bit of confusion about that. People call it different things. Spencer, Tennessee, Realtor 766. God, we've had a good crowd on here tonight, guys.
Yeah, not bad.
Without you guys, it wouldn't happen. Now, I appreciate it. Mike will be glad, and I'm definitely glad. We all are. I want to talk a little bit about beginning, maybe kind of the stages we go through, and we do go through those stages. I did. I think I got everything. No, I don't. Well, I think I want more, and you just keep buying it.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, do it, though. CW
yeah, there it is. Spencer, Tennessee. That's where that Dead Zero is.
Where do you fall on the statement of buy once, cry once? And how does that factor into like the beginning reloader? Because if you buy once, cry once on every single thing, it's a barrier to entry.
Well, I totally believe it when it comes to wedding rings, because I've done that. But now if you're talking about reloading, that's a different thing.
My answer was totally different. I was going to say I cry all the time once.
Yeah.
Apparently in reloading. So
buy 3 or 4 times.
I buy once, cry once, and then I buy 2 and cry twice. So it just goes on and on.
No, I kind of with you, Eagle. A lot of stuff I'll do that. I'll buy the higher end stuff, but maybe not everything. Things I know that makes a difference. Things that aren't such a big difference, like you're buying a name. Kind of like if you go out and you want to buy a Wilson combat rifle. Oh, everybody's going all crazy, right? Oh, these are awesome, and they are. But I'd rather buy the barrel and build my own, right?
Right. 100%.
And so that's kind of where I'm at. It's like buy the good stuff, and then the other stuff, it really doesn't matter. Then I can live a little bit less and save that money for something else.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you're talking about case gauges earlier. Like, you can literally spend as much money as you want to on a case gauge. Like, there's someone who's making a nicer one that costs $500. I'm sure of it.
Good to see you, Hobo and Info Bros. Appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight, man. Good crowd.
Now, like, to answer your other question too, if I was 40 or even 35 and getting into F class like I got into at 50, well, I'd be buying that auto trickler and all that stuff, the $1,500 powder measuring stuff, right?
Yeah.
I still reload to anal levels, to be honest, but you're going to have a lot more years to use that equipment, kind of thing. So
I'm looking. That's next for me, is looking at a little bit more accuracy from the Dillon, and maybe doing a turret press, maybe getting a trickler, or maybe just ditching my Dillon powder dropper and just doing a trickle funnel. Like, that'll slow you down a little bit, but yet you still get to process 4 things at once. So I thought about that, but then I'm also like, well, man, that area 419 would just fit a lot of different roles for me, because if I'm going to do Grendel and Creedmoor and 8.6 Blackout, really all of those need to be pretty accurate on powder, and then I can just bang out 9mm on the Dillon, and that would be that.
I'm going to get Max. I think it's 120i. I can't remember now. I'm sure. I think it's 120i. I'm not going to get the powder hopper initially. I'm just going to buy you can actually get the lower scale for, like, if you look around, $589 sometimes online. And that's a good deal for that scale, because that scale goes for about $700 on most sites. I have seen it low as $500 something. And that thing weighs.
Thing you can do for your 550s, 650s is use the Lee auto drum.
Yep.
For a lot of powders, it dispenses much more accurately and consistently than does the standard sliding bar or Dillon. Now, I have good luck with standard sliding bar Dillon, but when you get into stick powders and flake powders, it's not as accurate, where this is really good. So I put this on all of my rifle cartridges that use that kind of powders.
So you just when you get to that station, you just run the drum manually, or is it automatic?
No, it automatically indexes. When you push up on the case, it activates this and drops the powder.
Got a question for you, Hasbro.
No linkage,
How does it handle ball powder?
It does fine.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it does fine. I use ball powder in it too, just because I have something set up like this. This is my 223 high volume setup, and so I'll run ball powder in it too. No big deal. And they're like, I don't know what they are, $30-$40 for this powder measure. It's not expensive either.
I know Echo's got the Lee Perfect powder measure. He says it throws great Varget. Throws Varget great, I should say. And you can't beat that.
The Dillon, but
Well, my Dillon slide bar for 9mm, like, it'll throw 5.4 like every single time. But when I'm doing like 40 grains of powder for like Creedmoor, 42, 43, 44, when you're doing that one, it varies too much, in my opinion. And I'm running stay ball, like, I'm running a ball powder, like 6.5 stay ball. And it's like, it just leaves a little to be desired. And, shooting at my level, it probably doesn't matter that much, but, like, I just want it to be more.
Talking about GGW Outdoor says, I went with the, back then you get a RCBS 1500 for like $280 at no tax, free shipping on Brownells years ago. So I got mine for like $280, and I still got it. I actually take the main measure, and I'll show you, I use it more like just the scale by itself right here. The main dispenser's up there on the wall on another part of the room. Yep. So you can take the 1500 and change it. If I had to do over, I probably wouldn't have spent the $280. I would have bought the lab grade scale. Why? Lab grade scale is 5-year warranty. It's very accurate down to the kernel. The 1500 is known to go out or corrode, and if it does, RCBS usually just says, sorry, that's one of the things we don't warranty. You're kind of crapped out of luck most of the time. I mean, occasionally they have replaced it, I've heard, but most of the time they won't, because it's just electronic.
If I want absolutely the most accurate scale I have, including this Creedmoor Sports, which is a .02 and laboratory scale, and it's really for the money, they put it on sale a couple weeks ago for $275. You
Wow.
can't get a more accurate scale for the money. But I was able to find years ago, and they're really hard to find, is an OHAS 1010 beam scale. And when you I have a little small microscope. I put it on that, zoomed in on the scale, and I look on my laptop. You can dial it in tighter accuracy than you can even this by watching that little teeny movement. That scale is so accurate. But, you know, that's where I sort of had to draw the line, right? I was trying to get the 0.01 grains, and you don't see squat. There's no difference. There's nothing, right?
Yeah.
So now I do plus or minus 0.02 or 0.04 grain total for my precision. And that's not the source of the error. The rest is probably me.
Hey, GGW, we're taking you, we're turning you into looking at all those lollipops and candy canes now, from beginner to advanced.
Yeah, sorry.
That's what we're
I
doing.
went right from there to off the deep end. Sorry.
But we've covered most things. But like that powder measure, Lee. That's why I want to know if it does ball powder. I'll get one. I may get the perfect for Varget because I know Echo says it works good for Varget. And it drops pretty accurate, he says. I may check that out.
Little tensioning knob on the back that tightens that drum into an O-ring kind of sliding seal. And if ball powders, you can get them somewhat leaking out of it if you don't get that tension right. But you just adjust that and then it won't leak.
Cool.
It's just a matter of setup. It's not a big deal.
Well, guys, we done went an hour and a half. We've had a good crowd in here, man. I appreciate you all on the panel. I appreciate everyone in the side chat. Let me scroll here, make sure I didn't forget anybody new that may have jumped in. I've called all of you out. Appreciate you being here, CW. CW's got some health issues he's dealing with, so his time is valuable. Yeah, I was telling you the other day in the live stream, here we go again switching, but I've learned something in my older years. Time is something, if I had a choice between $1 million and more time, I'd pick the time. I don't care what it is. And even if you could pick fame, I would pick time because there's nothing more important than time. And you learn that as you age too. Definitely do. But I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Let's see. Hobbies Hobo was with us. D-Dub is here with us. I don't think nobody jumped in. Check out, I'm going to call out a few channels, shout outs. Check out Hillbilly Up. What was it? Saturday night? 10 p.m. Eastern time. You, Billy. I forget how I can't do it like he does. Yeah, he got that laugh. But check out his live stream, guys. Check out Georgia Shooting Connection, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hillbilly's 10 Eastern Standard Time, Saturday. Let's see who else. Macman039. I'm filling in for him, which most of you all are aware. Next Monday I'll be here. Thursday night I'm going to do a stream. I hadn't found the topic yet. I am going in a little bit different directions on my channel. You will see actually probably some edited videos from the bench to the range coming soon. And actually this here's Little Crow Gun Works. That is got toothpicks in it. I'll talk about that another time. But I got a few Anderson, Aero Precision, and Rainier Arms lower. And I know Eagle sees this. He's good. I bet he didn't see it because he is. I'll let him talk about that when he wants and where he wants.
Hey, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Government profile. 1 in 8 twist. I'm trying to think. Is it? I can't remember if it's wild or. It's been a while since I looked at this
barrel.
Let's see. See, that's one round I don't care for is blackout. I have no interest in it. Grendel I love, 308 I love, 6.5. Creedmoor I would like, but blackout is something I just don't quite warm to. I don't know. I guess it's different opinions.
For 5 years, I'm not going to build one, and I finally built one, and I built one just so I could compare to the 300 hammer, and I still haven't done a side-by-side video. It's like,
So that's a 223 Wild.
No, it's NATO. It's a mid-length 16 government SOCOM.
Yeah.
4150. I always get 4150. I won't do the 40, whatever it is, 40, 41 or 40. I can't remember now. But anyway, hopefully I'm gonna do some. I can't do builds live, you know that, but I can't do builds video, but I can show what I've done, cause similar to what Eagle does, and a lot of you all do. So hopefully I can get. I've always wanted to get from the bench to the range. And do different bullet weights and groups and all that. And get a camera for the. I was talking about it the last stream on Hasbro's 1500 party. Was it 15,000 subscribers you had?
Yeah, 1,500.
Oh, okay, 15.
Yeah.
Wow,
I'm not the Eagles level yet.
Oh, okay. How many you got now, Eagle?
I think I'm at like 23.
I said, yeah, boy, I said,
That's awesome.
I remember when you were like 4,000 or 5,000, was it 6,000?
I was 4,000 or 5,000 for years.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, when we first interviewed you. Yeah,
I hit 7,000 by the end of the year, and then from 7,000 to here is all January, February, March, April, May now.
You do good content.
Do you think the P80 drove most of that?
No, the Sheridan case gauge drove most of that.
Wow.
That one Sheridan short has 8,000 subscribers that came from that one Sheridan short. It's got like 7 or 8 million views.
Wow. And that's a good gauge. I've been wanting it for years.
Well, if they send me any more, I'll hook you guys up. They were, I emailed them and I'm like, hey guys, I just wanted to give you a heads up. This video kind of blew up over the last couple of weeks. And he's like, no, we know. Like, yeah, we know.
I did a short on Starline Brass, and they took the time to comment on my channel, and I was shocked. Yeah, Starline Brass actually said something. I went, wow. I told my brother on the phone call. I said, Starline Brass made a comment, man. I thanked him for it. Yeah, but I was kind of surprised. But hopefully I'm going to do, some shooting range videos eventually. I am, it's looking like why I talked about the car earlier, about the motor, to kind of tie this into a story that makes sense. I brought it up. As Eagle says, I can change on a dime, 10 out of 10. It's because it may not cost me that much. So that means I got money for more gun parts, got money for a better camera like Max got. I'll have money for a GoPro and a few other things. And
I do the money on the content and not the cameras.
I want a better cam. I don't like this Logitech.
My stuff I put downrange is not expensive. I got a little Aska or something HD 4K camera. I put that downrange because it's like $70. I don't put my GoPro downrange. I've got a long range camera system I will put downrange, but it's protected. It goes out to a mile. I got that from Eagle Eyes.
What do you put on your target, Hasbro? What'd you say?
I put that little Aska 4K, like $70 cam.
Where do you get it? Amazon?
Yeah, I got it off Amazon because if I shoot it, I won't be happy, but it's not like a $450 GoPro.
Are you happy with the clarity of it and everything?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not quite GoPro, but it's perfectly good for a target cam. Okay. And it's in harm's way. I mean, I put it within, probably 2 inches of some intended impact areas. It takes a lot of risk.
Well,
send me the link maybe sometime when you got time.
Okay.
Get on eBay and get a GoPro Hero 5 or 7 or one of the ones that's like a couple years old. That way they're not expensive. Someone's getting rid of it. I actually have like 3 or 4 GoPros in a drawer that I'll just pull out randomly. I have a nice one. I have a 10 that I can use, but I'm not really worried about shooting it. But I mean, if you shoot it, that's just funny content. So if it's on film, you can't really do any wrong. I mean,
that's what I have as a 10, and I'm just sorry, I'm too cheap to stick it downrange at this point. But eventually, it'll probably make it downrange.
Yeah.
Check my stream out Thursday night. I'm gonna come up with some topic. I'll post it. Probably post in community post, and I may post it about a day before at least. I'll turn it over to you, Hasbro. You can sign out and go down to Eagle.
All right. Well, it's good being on with you guys tonight. Good seeing all the side chat. There's really a lot of good comments in that side chat tonight. Appreciate every one of you. Like I say, for me, I got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to be taking a little bit of a road trip in the RV, and so I'll do some videos around that. But as far as shooting, reloading, I got to get my butt in gear in the next 2 weeks or so and get some stuff done. So I'll be creating content on that road trip. But we'll probably do some more. I've been doing some 6mm ARC stuff. And then some 6.5 Grendel. I've been shooting my 30-06, the 1942 M1903. I haven't put anything on it about it yet. We're going to do, I've decided I'm going to do what we're going to call a Hasbro Mad Minute. Okay, so if you know the British Mad Minute drill, they used infields with twice the capacity round-wise. and they would fire as many as they can accurately from a prone position at 100 yard or a 200-yard target, and excuse me, actually I think it was 300-yard target. But I'm going to do a variant of it on an NRA target at 100 yards, and we'll start a little contest, and people can all shoot the same thing, and then I'll give away something. I just think it'd be something fun. Everybody take a 1903, and if you use an A3, you're going to have penalties because mine's open sight. And we'll do something like that. But anyway, that'll be fun. We'll put that into probably later part of June.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everyone
Sounds good.
1903.
Yeah.
What you want to plug,
I'll come
Eagle?
up with something good for the contest.
I do not have a 1903. I just left my link in the chat there. A big thing that came out about a week ago, but it was actually posted on the website today, is I'm officially a Faxon ambassador. So if you go to my link tree and you click on Faxon and you go to the ambassadors, you will see my face on the website there. I'm excited about this mostly because it's going to give me access to a couple of cool things. Whenever Faxon has new stuff, they send it to me and I get to review it. And the big thing that is coming is Faxon is making a bolt action, a REM 700 bolt action that is going to be manufactured in-house. They teased it a while ago, but it was introduced at SHOT Show and will be available this summer. And allegedly I'll be getting mine soon so that I can start my build so that when they come out, we'll have a finished product ready for it. So I'm jazzed about that. I'm trying to work with a couple companies strategically. I don't really want to make it weird that I only want to, like, I have PSA and Faxon. I think that's pretty much it. I'm not really going to be looking for much else, but I think it's going to be cool to be able to get some of that stuff early. And I don't have a bolt action. I mean, I have a Savage Axis and a Ruger American, but like, I don't have like a real bolt action. So I'm going to try to build one on the workbench like we do everything. And you see what I build and what I show on YouTube. For whatever reason, we have no strikes in 2023. So what you see posted, they're allowing me to post for now. So I saw a couple of those videos I didn't think they were going to let me get away with, but they did. So
you are actually some of the reason I said I'm going to go kind of take a different tack, to be honest with you.
They're letting me do some stuff. So.
Yeah, I noticed those things, these things in the past. Yeah.
So I try to just talk about it and not actually show how to do it, but I've shown how to do a couple of things and they let me do it. So I'm sure I'll get a strike at some point, but
that is pretty awesome though that you got that. Now, if this Ashley and Amanda and all that, if they have words to say, I'm probably going to read them ahead of yours. I hate to say that, but I'll be looking for you on the Faxon site.
All right. Well, check the ladies out first, and then scroll down to your boy. You'll run at the bottom.
Appreciate you being here, Hasbro. Appreciate you, Eagle, being with us, man.
Yeah.
Great night. I enjoyed it. Had a good crowded side chat. No, I did not forget you, Michael Dunn. I was going to scroll up and call you out. Appreciate you being here. I highlight you too, like Hillbilly says sometimes. That way we didn't forget about you, man. I always see you. And,
good night, Dale Pogue.
Good to see all of you. D-Dub, Chad, Kelly, Ron Wayne, Misty Mrs. Appreciate all of you. PA Reloader. I mean, CW was with us. I've pretty much called out almost everyone. I was scrolling when near the end of the show, when I'm letting them call, talk to you, I'm looking and checking out. That way I can highlight it and bring it back around to you. So I try not to overlook you. Let's see. Anyway, I appreciate each and every one. It's a great crowd tonight. You all are great. Appreciate it all. And God bless. And you all have a good one.
Thanks for having us.
Not all.
Guys.
And appreciate the panel. Thanks for being here, Eagle. And thanks for being here, Hasbro. Both of you. Great having you on.